Hello and welcome back to the ministry. And today I wanted to give you this last little nugget for the film, Snow White. There's something that's been bugging me that I did not add to that review. And there was a point in which I believe one of the dwarfs made a point of mentioning, and this may have been something that was brought up in the midst of Snow White's speech. And it was the fact that she has the ability to see things, okay? Which, for those of us that have the prophetic gift of intercessory, we have the ability to see. But not only that, it was mentioned that she and the queen shared the same visions. This is important information due to the fact that it shows, remember, there's a scripture that talks about in the Bible the prophet that could see into the king's bedroom. Well, for you, it's the same way for you towards the individual that the Lord is allowing you to elevate for. There is a level of um, wisdom that the Lord has given you through prophecy that you have been able to see things that other people could not see in relation to this individual. You were steps ahead of them that they could not understand. And the fact that there were certain things, plots, plans, schemes, things, whatever it was, you knew before anybody else knew. And you were able to get ahead of them. You were spiritually able to intercede ahead of them. So the plot and plan did not work. If you recall in the Bible, it talks about the fact that because this prophet could see into the king's bedroom, every plan that the king attempted was hindered, halted, or stalled because the adversary to that king always knew or was prepared ahead of them to prevent them from being able to go on and complete the ambush, whatever it was that they were initially planning to do. It was stopped every single time. And they were like, how in the world does this person know? Because the prophet could see into the king's bedroom, which in this case, it was Snow White could see into the evil queen's throne room. She knew the plans that this woman had. She could see it. You have a level of wisdom beyond what it is that they assumed that you would be able to have. And Lord, would you like me to share it? Are you sure? The Lord showed me in a dream several years ago. It was me and a particular individual. And this particular individual pops up periodically. I hear this individual's name. I see them in my dreams. And the Lord has given me the wisdom of who this individual is. And in giving me this wisdom, he showed me that me and this individual think alike. I'm like, what? But then he's confirmed it where it's one of those, I would have like 7, 8 years ago, I had an idea for something. I had some journals and all this kind of stuff that I had written all this stuff down in, and I misplaced my journals. Now, I saw this same individual that the Lord showed me in a dream do darn near what it was that I had envisioned. And I'm like, what? And it was like, I was listening to um, a minister, and she was making the point of saying that there are some plans that you should never share with certain people, because if God gave it to you, there are people that would love to take the plans in which you have. And because they have the way, the means, and the time, especially due to the fact that God is elevating certain people into influential spaces, these people have money and means that they could literally take the idea that you have, that you've envisioned doing, and if they knew what it was, they could usurp you and do it ahead of you. If you go back and you look at, I'm going to use the music industry as a perfect example. I was looking at a video. It was two different videos actually, and it was one. It was talking about this young woman who had went into the music industry. She was about to be the new hot thing, and what the executives had, they had already planned out. They were going to make her the new hot thing, right? But what ended up happening is there was another industry, higher class, what would you call it, princess of the industry, and she tapped somebody else, if you understand what I'm saying. And when she tapped somebody else, the individual that had route to be elevated to her, to the proper position, cut her off. And this individual, from the point in time that she got cut off, she was like blackballed in the industry. Like, she couldn't get nothing to work. And the sad part about it is she ended up on Real Housewives in the past few years, just drinking and complaining about the fact I almost was. Another individual, a musician, she was known at the time, she had come up with a new sound in the industry. And when she came out with this new sound, uh, nobody was doing what she was doing when she started to come up. And she came out with a first record. When she was preparing to come out with her second record, it was like the industry tapper went and tapped that same sound base, completely copied the sound. But because this individual, they do this all the time. I'm not just talking about the music industry. I literally was taking fashion courses, and I believe that was the season that I fell out of love with fashion. um they were the proctor for my class was talking about the fact that what a lot of major mainstream designers will do is they will go to like the little boutiques that nobody knows these designs, nobody knows these designers. These people have worked hard to build their brand and their business, and they'll go window shop in these places, see the new trends that these individuals, something that they've never seen done before, take it to major runways and act like they did it themselves. And because these are little boutiques that half of them don't even pay attention to what's going on mainstream, their ideas are being filtered and used on mainstream, and they ain't getting paid for it. So these are things that are done in order to what I just say, usurp the crown, usurp their ability to come out ahead of these individuals. They'll take it, they'll see it, they'll steal it. I remember seeing T-Boz one time. She was literally talking about, if you write music, don't ever go into a meeting with, I think she said, don't ever go into a meeting with your tape or with your lyrics and leave it with them. Because if you leave it with them, they're going to take it and hand it off to whoever is a higher ranking person. And you'll turn around and hear your song that you worked hard on and coming out the mouth of somebody else. So you got to be well prepared for that kind of stuff. This was a side note element. But my point being is you have the vision. God has shown you, for it says in the word that God pours out his spirit on the just and the unjust. But the problem is people operating in witchcraft will tap into specific people's visions, dreams, so on and so forth, in order to get ahead. I literally heard a minister say that there are people in these high industries that if they knew a Christian was about to come into the industry or into that company, they literally have seers at the top heads of some of these executive corporations, and they know when a Christian comes in, and they literally are set up to oppress the ability for this person to come up the ladder. And that came from a completely different minister. Because they're using seers to do this. What was the queen in Snow White? A seer. She was using the mirror to see things. And if you even want to go even farther than that, let's even talk about Little Mermaid, which I think I mentioned momentarily in the beginning of this. Little Mermaid, what did Ursula do? She used a water pool to see what Ariel was doing. But see, God is also giving you vision too. You can see what the enemy's doing as well. And I wanted to add that in before I finished this review. I actually didn't plan on being on here this long, but the Lord brought me this remembrance and I needed to add it to let you guys know, hey, keep your eyes and ears open, okay? For some of you, your enemies are your family members. They got monitoring spirits. They desperately desire to know what it is that you're planning ahead of time because of the fact that if the enemy can figure it out, he can get ahead of you and stop you. But what belongs to God belongs to God. And he will move these individuals out of the way if he has to. I'm just letting you know. So that was really all I had to add. So that being said, until next time, much love, faith, peace, and blessings to you. Bye-bye.